Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today we're checking out a 2025 Ford Maverick all-wheel drive truck in the LOBO trim. This truck is sitting on 225/55 Goodyear tires wrapped around 19-inch alloy wheels with a gloss black finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with the ventilated rotors in the front and solid rotors in the back. The LOBO trim is basically the sport truck of the lineup for Maverick. And it looks so cool, especially with the all blacked out style that this one has. So the exterior color is black. I don't know the exact name because they gave me the wrong window sticker, so I have to look it up, but I'll have the information in the description. Hopefully I'll be able to get the correct window sticker by the time this video gets published, and I'll have that in the video as well. But the front is pretty cool. It has a unique design for the LOBO. It's kind of smooth and sleek, and I love that Ford logo that's just black and white. That looks so good to me. That's what stood out. I was like, wow, it just I don't know, there's something about the blacked out and then you had the Ford logo in the white. It just looks good. And so it has a projector headlight system and a reflector fog light. There's parking sensors up here. The LOBO is a little bit lower to the ground, so it's a little bit lowered, but has a great suspension system. But it also has a special transmission feel, and it's pretty cool. It's quite a bit different than the other Maverick that I drove. So looking at the profile, you can see everything's blacked out, handles and everything. Now the only thing I would say is this pillar right here, if that was gloss black instead of matte black, I think it would kind of solidify the glass a little bit better. But as it is, it still looks good. Now those wheels, that's another thing that stood out to me when I first saw it, are these wheels. And when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, there's some kind of like hubcap or something. But no, there are actually aluminum solid wheel, and it just has that dished out look. And they're very easy to clean, and they look cool. They're definitely unique looking. Here in the back, once again, all blacked out, bumper and everything. This one has the tow hitch here. The backup camera is in this perfect center position, which is nice. Has a pretty decent camera system and lockable tailgate. Now this one has a spray-in bed liner. It has the tie downs, fixed tie downs, and then the movable tie downs here on this rail. There is a power inverter here as well, and it is a 400 watt, 120 volt power inverter. So that could come in handy. Now this isn't really a work truck, but it could come in handy for certain scenarios. And then over here is a little place to put gloves or tie straps or anything like that. Now if you take this out like that, you can slide this bottom out and there's like a little secret compartment in there as well. Now since we have a short bed, they do have some tie down spots here on the tailgate, so you can see that. And so let's say you're putting 2x4s in here, tying it down here with the tailgate, and also there in the back or wherever, that could definitely come in handy. I love the fact that they put that. Because even though this is a work truck, you might want to put something back here sometimes, and that is just a great design. You can also reposition these cables up here if you need to raise the tailgate a little bit in case you need a level surface to put some plywood or something, so they would rest on the tire wells right there, wheel wells, and the top of the tailgate, and it kind of has like this level surface. I demonstrated all this stuff before, and I'm sure most of everybody has seen this feature of the truck, because if you take a piece of plywood, it's not going to fit in here, so it has to go on top of these wheel wells here. And of course, you know, it needs something to support it, and then that's where the tailgate comes in. This is what the key looks like, and it's just a basic Ford key. Wish it had like something special about it for the LOBO edition. It does have a remote start, panic button, lock and unlock. But basically, you just keep the key in your pocket, and you can use the vehicle 100%. Now, it has a sensor behind the handle for unlocking, and then a sensor here for locking, so locking the door. There's also a physical key location here on the driver's side only. Interior has like this teal blue, I guess you can say, interior color. In addition to the gray, and then this bright, vibrant, kind of like royal blue mixed in. It looks really good. So it is mostly a hard touch surface door. This is soft, somewhat soft. It's like a vinyl material. The rest of it's hard plastics. This is the handle, and I like the way it's just kind of open right there. You can put like a tall bottle right here, a small bottle there, and then this is kind of open in here, so you can put umbrellas or something in there. It goes in there quite a ways. So it has the B&O sound system. Sounds pretty good. There's one of the speakers there. No fancy sill plate here in the threshold. It does have a manual seat on the passenger side, but it does have a height adjustment in addition to the regular adjustments for the seat. Really like these stitching, this contrast stitching and a bright, vibrant, kind of like a neon yellow, and then that kind of like teal blue mixed in. But yeah, these are fairly comfortable seats. Now, I'll probably mention it again, but that seat, you can see how it's kind of tilted back, down. You can't adjust the tilt on the driver's seat or on this seat. So you can only like go up and down, and forward and back and tilt the back. But this seat is the kind of way it's positioned. It's fine, I would say, for most people, but you know, if you need to tilt it, it just doesn't do that. Decent amount of legroom here. Yeah, overall comfortable truck, even though it's, you know, somewhat small, but it's fine. Hard touch surfaces here, non-locking glove compartment. Plastic there on the inside, smooth plastic anyway. I like the way it has like this little angular design going on there. Has the same thing going on here as well. It's kind of dished out a little bit here. Goes in a little bit behind the screen. And a hard touch dash, and then there's a little storage compartment there for gloves or something like that. This one does have the sunroof. These seats have like it's like a vinyl type material. This outer part's kind of like plasticky feeling and smooth and slick. The inner part's kind of like a grippy. It has like a little bit of like a rubber type feel to it. So when you're sitting in a seat, you're not sliding around, but it's fairly easy to slide in and then sit down. But yeah, the texture on the seat is quite different. So nice slick here and then kind of grippy here. It has like a little speckle design as well. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera. But yeah, pretty neat. The inside of the back door, similar styling, just a little bit smaller. All hard touch surfaces except for right here. And then we have the pockets, the handle, and all that stuff. It does not go into the door here, though. Has like this little catch. So change or whatever falls out of your pocket goes right there. Whatever you drop, it's not going to go underneath the seat. It's kind of like a little spot to go there. And basically a bench seat back here. Does have the contrast stitching and all that stuff. Same materials, basically. The armrest folds down. You have cup holders, nice and soft. So there's pockets, mat pockets on the back of both front seats. And you have USB-C ports, power inverter, 400 watts, and like a little, Ford makes like these little things, accessories that you can hang here, like cup holders and stuff, different things like that you can buy as accessories. Now it's interesting, it has the rubber mats back here, but the carpet mats in the front for some reason. So this lifts up, this whole seat lifts up. And then you have some under seat storage here. And then you can see more of these little attachment things for accessories here and here. Quite a bit of space under the seat, actually. And then this seat folds forward. And then you got some more stuff. You got a little 6x9 subwoofer going on back here, tools for the spare tire, and just some random stuff. And there is a power window back here as well, power sliding window. The fuel door is here on the driver's side. And it's capless design, it's not locking or anything. And it says you can use regular fuel. Now it is a turbocharged engine, so if you decide you want to use premium for longevity, that would be nice, but it's designed to work with regular fuel. Capless design, don't have to worry about it. Let's go ahead and start it up. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Now you notice the floor mat snaps in place, unlike the other side. There's the accelerator, brake pedal, footrest, all that stuff. Let's take a look under the hood. So we just basically pull this twice. 1 and 2. Now we can just lift the hood. So that second pull was the emergency release catch. Now the hood is very light, but it does require a prop to hold it up. Here's the prop here, and it swings up to right where the arrow's pointing. There's no insulation under the hood. And surprisingly, it's fairly quiet. A lot of the engine noise is kept out, but yet there's no insulation there. There is a seal across the back, but it's not sealed up as much as I thought it was going to be. Now the suspension towers are braced into the vehicle. We do have an easy to access battery here. But yeah, all that valve noise and stuff like that, don't hear that while you're driving. So yeah, I'm surprised at how well they keep that noise out. Now it does have an insulated firewall. There's some heat shielding back there, because that's where the turbo is. But since it is a four-wheel drive vehicle, or an all-wheel drive, it's not really a four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive system. It's basically, the orientation of the engine is like it's a front-wheel drive, right? So it's not like a, the traditional truck sense. The engine would be facing this way, transmission that way, and then the rear-wheel drive would be the default. This one is the front-wheel drive as the default. So the transmission's down here. So you can actually see it on this vehicle. Right there is the transmission. So yeah, pretty cool. Decent amount of room here in the front anyway. In the back, it looks like it's kind of tight. This vehicle is powered by a 2.0 liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder. So it's a turbocharged 4-cylinder, puts out 250 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. Now it's mated to a 7-speed automatic transmission. Now this is a unique transmission for the LOBO, and it has paddle shifters. It also has different drive modes, including a LOBO drive mode. Now a standard all-wheel drive with a twin-clutch rear drive unit with for torque vectoring, basically. Now the suspension is lowered and tuned for on-road dynamics, so it's not like an off-road focused vehicle. Now you can see the main structure of the vehicle right here. The frame dips down like that, so it doesn't follow along with the outer part. So in the event of an impact, the energy is going to crumple and bend that down and absorb some of the shock. So yeah, it's kind of cool that you can actually see it on this vehicle. The way the actual structure is different from, as far as the frame is different from the shape of the vehicle. This stuff is intended to just, crumble like nothing and then allow to absorb the impact basically once it gets to a certain point. If the impact is hard enough to where it's able to get past all this stuff. It does have the blind spot detection system right here. And I noticed the blind spot detection system, like it's a very small area. So a car can be in your blind spot, the light won't turn on basically. So on any blind spot detection systems, don't rely on that. You have to look anyway. But it does have the blind spot detection system, rear cross traffic alert. It could come in handy in certain times. So yeah, the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. So you can see the door locks there. Power windows are here. And these are one touch up and down, non-laminated glass. And then the back windows, one touch down, and they go all the way down. And one touch up. And you can tell they're, privacy glass. I would definitely tint the glass here in the front. Possibly add some gloss vinyl wrap right here just to kind of solidify the glass area. Possibly, I don't know. I have to think about it. So the side mirrors are adjusted here, and you can just pick a side and adjust with this little pad. And the driver's seat is powered, but once again, it doesn't have a tilt. It just height adjustment, tilt the back, and then the two-way lumbar adjustment. Of course, you can move the seat forward and back, but you can't tilt it, like this. And you can see how the seat is tilted already significantly, like back this way. So I was trying to level it out just slightly, but just the style of the vehicle, I guess, and the shape of the seat. I mean, it's okay once you get used to it, but at first it was a little bit different. Now to the left of the steering column, you have the cargo lights right here. I do have a night video on the Maverick if you want to check it out. But the headlight switch has like a turn dial. The center button here is for the fog lights, and then you have the automatic and headlights, fog lights, or headlights, parking lights, and off here as well. Dimmer switch for the interior gauges is here, and it has a tilt and telescoping steering column as well. I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and I have the driver's seat all the way back and all the way down to give you an idea of the potential legroom here. I'm 6 feet tall, and it's pretty much fine for me to pull the seat all the way back. I could pull it up a little bit. The footrest angle is good. I can pull it up just a little bit, and so if you're slightly more than 6 feet tall, you probably won't have a problem with it. Steering wheel is comfortable. It has a nice soft surface, so not only does it have that wrapping, but it has like a subsurface that's a little bit soft, like a rubbery soft, and it feels comfortable. It has that stitching, 2-color stitching, looking nice. It looks like it's hand stitched basically. And yeah, feels really good. It has a little tiny paddle shifters there on the back if you want to get a little bit more sporty or have control over the shifting. Here on the left side is a cruise control here at the very top, and it's the adaptive cruise control. You can set the distance. You have the lane keep assist system. You turn it on with this one button. It's very simple. You just press the button, turns it on, and sets it at the same time. You do have a cancel as well. Resume, you press in on this little toggle switch. Now the bottom part right here and here has to do with the radio. So you have the volume for the radio, you have a mute button, which will not pause songs if you're playing off your phone. It'll just mute the radio, and you're basically your songs will just keep on playing, just muted. And then here on the right side, you can change to the tracks, but also these buttons serve as answering and hanging up. So it's 2 separate buttons for hanging up. So that's good. And then you have the voice recognition here. Now these buttons here, you have the mode, which in this case is not for your radio, for the drive mode. So we can kind of cycle through here. So there's normal, sport, tow and haul, and then this one has the LOBO mode. So it's like for track or off-road and stuff like that, supposedly. It's not really, I like normal. Sport is good. The LOBO mode is a little bit more engine braking. I mean, it's a lot more. It's just kind of more aggressive driving, and as far as the actual acceleration feels about the same to me. It's just the, you have to, we'll see what it looks like when I drive. I'll show you. It just holds the RPMs like super high, so you can have that very responsive pedal basically. But yeah, this is a full touchscreen over here, and how you control it are these buttons here. So you can, you have up and down, okay, and then you have a back, and then this little list right here, or a menu. So right now it has a digital speedometer. You can see the engine coolant temperature there, the fuel gauge here on the right side, how many miles you can drive to empty, and then your odometer, outside temperature, and what gear you're in. Last speed limit sign you passed, and also it has an RPM gauge, the tachometer there. It's just like a little leveler, little status bar, I guess you can say. But if we hit this button here, this little list button or menu button, we can pull up here on the right. Everything kind of slides over. Then you have these different options here, and you can choose your different views. So you have your My View here. You can configure it like so, and then you can choose what you want to have in here. All right, let's go back out. Go back out. We have trips here. Trip 1, trip 2. And then it has your average miles per gallon in your trip and the time. All right, let's go back here. And let's go to the fuel economy. You can see you can have that there. And this will, as you're driving, it'll give you like a little status bar. But you can quickly access your trip 1, trip 2, and so this little menu will stay up here. All right, go back here to the menu. You have towing, status information about the vehicle, and basically in this case you're just your seat belts. Vehicle maintenance. Let's go back to vehicle maintenance. Let's see right here the tire pressure. That way we can actually see the tire pressure there. Going down, whatever your radio's doing, whatever your phone's doing, which is disconnected right now. Navigation, and then your settings. So there's navigation here. You can set it, basically just choose choose one that you already have set here on the steering wheel basically. Then you can go into settings, and then you can choose the screen content. You can choose to have a secondary speedometer. Left gauge is tachometer. We can choose that to be none if we want. And then turn by turn indication We can have that here on the screen as well. We can also have a classic view. So we can have the round speedometer gauge if we want to have that. So now you can see, when you're driving, you'll be able to see it more, but it has like a round, like a little status bar that will move up, and depending on how fast you're going, will show there. Now it's showing miles per hour here and then kilometers per hour there. So, you know, as far as the digital part. Notice the secondary speedometer right here, it just toggles on the kilometers per hour. So if you don't want that, you just want the miles per hour, you can just take that away. So there's a pretty good sized touchscreen over here. And you can see that we're at the navigation map right now. It's pretty responsive. The only issue I've had with this screen is the Bluetooth system just sputtering sometimes. It's like there's some kind of, it's not a strong connection or something. So either it gets interference or it just can't keep up with the phone or something. I'm not really sure. But yeah, this is the home screen here. You have your phone, and then basically whatever your radio is doing here, and then your phone here, navigation map here. You can quickly go into your settings, your features, and then your apps. So the home screen looks pretty good. You have the climate control down here as well, including the heated seat, which you can turn on or off. It's a 3-stage here. It does have an automatic section setting as well. So yeah, let's go into the radio here, and then we can change the source. So this one does have the satellite radio, and so yeah, you can see what it looks like here. You notice it has a little navigation map over here, and it's like a little sidebar, which you can have more information here on the side if you want to have that. All right, let's go back out of that. Let's go to features. You have driver assistance. We can set all that stuff up. And then we have apps here. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It does have YouTube as well, kind of interesting. But yeah, not too bad. And you know, your climate control is easy to use. You got driver and passenger temperatures, 3 settings for your automatic fan, and then a heated steering wheel, heated side mirrors, that kind of stuff. I like this little blue line that's going on there. It does have the Pro Trailer backup assist system. I don't have direct experience with this. I don't have a trailer set up with the vehicle or anything, but it's supposed to help you out with backing up a trailer. And I'll link a video in the description so you can see a demonstration for that. The volume for the radio is kind of like over there, so I'm not sure what that's going on, but or why it's over there, but it's fine. It's kind of rubberized and it's working okay, but it's a little bit out of the way. So I guess it's intended for the driver to use these buttons and the passenger to use that, I suppose. So you got a little bit of buttons right here. So you can change to the tracks in the radio. You can quickly go to the camera system, which is great right there. I like the way you can just press a button, quickly go to this camera system. And so right now it's showing the front view, and then you can see the top view as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and put it in reverse. So you can see there's the back view with the active guidelines. The parking sensors, you can turn them off if you need to here. You can also hit the plus button and help you back up to a trailer. It gives you that center line, all that stuff. Really nice. You can hit the plus button over here, and you can see specific places. Just kind of basically zooms in to that side. So yeah, it's nice. You can choose where you want to see, basically. But yeah, the camera system's really good, really well done. It's not like super elaborate as far as features, but it gives you a good view that's useful most of the time, basically. So yeah, the 4-way flashers are here, max, defrost, and then this is the brake hold feature here. And then down here is the button for the power window there in the back, the sliding rear window. We'll look at that in a few minutes. And then you have a USB-C, USB-A, Bluetooth, USB connections to the system, and also charging your phone, that kind of stuff. And speaking of charging your phone, it does have a wireless charger here. Now it's kind of limited on what phones you can put in this place. I have one phone that fits in there, one phone does not. And it seems like it charges the phone most of the time, but there's no status light or anything like that. So you just kind of like put it in there and hopefully it'll charge. And there's a little storage compartment here. Now it does show here on the screen that it's charging, but I wish there was like a status light. And then there's another place to put a phone or something here. This comes out and you can clean it. I like that. Clean it in the sink or put it in the dishwasher, hose it off, brush it off, or whatever. You see that's what it looks like without it. But yeah, nice little spot there. Cup holders are here. I hadn't had any problem with those. Storage compartment here that phones do not fit into. Here's another spot to put a phone or whatever you want to there. Here's the shifter. It's basically just a dial. So you can see it's just reverse, neutral, drive, and then you have a manual button there in a second in the center. Electronic parking brake is here. Lift it up to engage the rear wheels. Hold the brake and push it down to release it. The idle stop, you can turn it off here. Default is on. Same thing with the traction control. Default on, but if you need to spin tires, you can turn off the traction control here. Has a little place for like a little card to go right here. Curious as if you can take this out and get something out. Probably can. I'll have to look into it, but like if you put a cord, something like kid puts like a dime or dimes or something in there and you need to get it out. But yeah, it's just kind of like a little place to put a card or a credit card or an ID or whatever. So the armrest is pretty comfortable. It's soft, has the stitching and everything. It's not big enough to share with the passenger though. This lifts up, and you got a compartment here. Let me get my junk out. Got my business cards and trash and everything in there. All right, and has like a felt lining at the bottom. No connectivity or anything like that. Not really any places for wires to go in and out either. But yeah, there's no reason to. Yeah, I'd replace that felt at the bottom. I'd replace it with a lighter color felt. Just go to the craft store or whatever and get like a light color felt. I made a video about that, and it makes it just so much easier to reflect some light back, and then you're able to see in the compartment better. But if it's full of junk, it doesn't matter, I suppose. There we go. The rear view mirror is an auto dim, or no, it's a manual day and night mode. And then you got some lights up here, tap lights here. You have turn on all the interior lights, have them all off, or have them turn on with the door in the center position here. This is for the sunroof. Get to that in a minute. The headliner is a cloth, but the visors are the same color and the same texture and everything, but it's a vinyl. I really like that because if you're touching this all the time, it's so much easier to clean when it's a vinyl and not a cloth like this. So I like that. I like the way they match the color and the texture though. That is cool. And there's a little clip right here. There is a mirror with some lights, warm lights by the way. And then this extends out and has a clip on that side as well, and it has pretty good coverage here on the side. Same there on the passenger side. Now the sunroof has a shade that covers 100% of the light. You just slide it back like so. And let's go ahead and tilt this up. Or actually, we're sliding it back. Accidentally hit the button there. All right, let's push it again. There we go. Goes a look back a little bit further. All right, go forward. Now let's tilt it up. There we go. Tilts up a little bit. I like the way it's shaded. It's very easy. It's manual. You just like real fast open and close it. It's not like a slow power shade, and also it covers 100% of the light, so that's nice. Okay, so looking at the visibility back here, no problem really. I mean, you can see right out, depending on your passengers and the passenger's hairdo, and also whatever happens to be getting in the way, like in the bed of the truck or whatever. But yeah, it's not bad. Those headrests, not really a big deal, I guess. But yeah, not bad. Now let's go ahead and do that power sliding window while we're looking at it. This is a fun truck to drive. Let me go ahead and just give you an acceleration idea here. So even though basically I'm flooring it and it's going a little bit past the RPM range as far as the maximum torque, it still feels strong. It's able to deliver that power and give you good shifts and everything. Has a nice sound inside the vehicle. It's really cool for a sport truck, you know. So that was normal mode. Let's go into sport mode. So that's a little bit better as far as the acceleration. It feels a little bit better to me. It's not a huge difference. But as far as just when you're not flooring it, you're driving, it kind of holds the RPMs a little bit higher, so that way you're in that ideal torque range for, you know, more sporty driving, I suppose. But yeah, the different drive modes you can control. It has sport, it has tow and haul, has normal mode, and it has LOBO. Now this is because this is for like closed course driving. So I can feel the engine braking kick in with the LOBO mode. So this is supposed to be like, you know, you're on a racetrack or something, I suppose. Or just not on the road, I guess, because it's more of a... Yeah, it's very responsive. It's holding really high RPMs. You know, it's like almost 5,000 RPMs. Even just going steady. There we go, downshifted. So let's try LOBO mode, which is wolf mode, I suppose. Yeah, you can feel that engine braking and holding the RPMs. It's just, as far as like a 0 to 60, it feels somewhat similar to the sport mode, but it's just that it's just holding the RPMs much higher to give you, you know, to keep you in that torque range in the LOBO mode. So I'm just going to do just like it's a normal mode. I'm just going to do a normal acceleration. You know, just kind of driving along and you're pushing the accelerator a little bit. It feels stronger, you know, without flooring it. It feels stronger. It keeps it in that RPM range in which it's designed for, and it just feels really punchy and strong, even in normal mode. With the normal, just a light touch on the accelerator, and you're able to get up to speed, and it just feels good. For a small truck like this, it is very, very satisfying drive as far as the acceleration and the power that you actually have. But the normal driving, you know, like the cruise control, the lane keep assist system, it works fine. Now, a lot of times I turn off the lane keep assist system because, you know, it's a little bit aggressive and it kind of fights with me sometimes. Sometimes it's fine. There's no grip sensor, so you have to rely on a torque sensor, so sometimes it gives you a little bit of annoyances as far as telling you to hold the steering wheel when you are holding the steering wheel. But you can see it's rock solid in the lane. So it does a good job of holding the lane. It's just, it feels, since you have to hold the steering wheel, you know, you can kind of feel it tight, you know, tugging on you. And if it had a grip sensor instead of a torque sensor, you would just kind of lightly hold the steering wheel, right? You could just kind of lightly hold it. But since it relies on that torque sensor to sense whether you're holding the steering wheel, you kind of have to hold it and then turn it a little bit, and, you know, have you know, basically drive the vehicle to some degree. And then as far as like, you know, turning the steering wheel, and then it feels like it's constantly fighting with you because, you know, your natural instincts may not be exactly the same as what the lane keeping system wants to put you in that lane, right? So, you know, it's one of those things that you can get used to it. But sometimes in certain roads, I'll turn it off. But like on the highway, it's fine. It's not really an issue. It's just certain situations. So there's a simple button to turn it off when you don't want to use it on the road that you're on. So that's convenient. Overall, the steering wheel, even with the lane keep assist off, the steering is a little bit stiff. Like, it feels pretty stiff, and, you know, it kind of wanders a little bit. I don't know if it's maybe because it's been windy lately or whatever. It just feels a little bit, I don't know, just a little bit not quite as smooth and easy to drive, the steering, you know, stiffness, I guess. So, you know, I mean, it's just, it didn't take me long to get used to it, but when I first started driving it was noticeable, right? I'm driving all these other vehicles and other trucks and stuff, and then I get in this one, and you can kind of feel the way the steering is. It's a little bit different enough to where I noticed it, you know. So, you know, just something to consider. If you take one for a test drive, you might notice that, but very quickly, you know, it's one of those things where that type of thing over time even a short time, you'll get used to it and it'll be a non-issue. But don't let it deter you when you're taking one for a test drive. Don't say, oh, I don't want it because of steering, because you'll get used to it, right? It's not really a big problem. It's just something to understand when you go take it for a test drive. Overall, I like this vehicle. There is very minor issues as far as like design layout. It seems to be designed well as far as where everything's at. And when see, I'm not holding, I'll put my hands on the steering wheel. Okay, there it goes. But just one of those false alerts, right? But anyways, where everything's at and just the overall ergonomics in the driver's seat is fine. It's not really a big deal as far as the way it's designed. Now, one thing I noticed that I do have a constant issue with, and that is the Bluetooth system. It's constantly, like not getting a good connection, and it stutters, and that's been a little bit of a problem. But getting past that tractor. But other than that, like, I do enjoy driving this vehicle. The suspension is nice. It's not too bouncy. It feels good. Some small trucks have like this bouncy feel, This one has been fine. It's not an issue, for me. The suspension is great, actually. And I noticed that with the other Maverick that I drove, it just has a nice, smooth, comfortable suspension. The seats are mostly comfortable. They don't have a tilt. Like, you can't tilt the bottom of the seat. You can lift it up and lower it down, which somewhat tilts it a little bit. But other than that, I'm able to get a decent, comfortable position. And, just overall, comfortable drive. It's not a huge truck, so, the way the ergonomics is designed, it's important to have it to where you can, be comfortable in a small space, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's fun to drive. I like the sound. A small truck like this, usually it has like this little whiny engine in it, and it's a little, just kind of like, okay, I'm in a little rinky-dink truck. But this one feels strong, and it sounds nice. Has that sound in the vehicle where it feels fun, and it doesn't feel like a little rinky-dink truck. It's actually a neat little sport truck, and I like the styling too. So I did a good job. Have a little bit of a lower down, style, like lower the truck down, like the mini trucks, similar to that, but not quite the mini truck style necessarily, but it kind of has that a little bit. And the wheels have that dish look. Yeah, just overall, I think it's pretty cool. This is all like solid blacked out, so it'd be kind of neat to see different colors with this style, this truck. But yeah, as it is, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like it. The Maverick has been pretty impressive to me. Now, I've been driving the high trim levels, the more expensive ones. The lower trims, I'm interested in seeing like a lower trim, like the base model, like the cheapest one you can possibly get, because that would get somebody into a truck at a really good price. And I have yet to see one of those inexpensive ones. So, some people just need an inexpensive small truck, and it doesn't really matter. A lot of the nicety features, a lot of people don't need all that stuff. So, just curious. If you have one, if you have a base model, if you ever find one at a dealership, let me know. If you bought a base model Maverick, like the $20-something thousand truck, I would like to know what your opinion is of it. But yeah, because just the overall platform is pretty nice. You can hear some exterior noises, a little bit of road noise, tiny bit of wind noise, but overall it's fine. Just a slight sound outside is not a problem. You can definitely have a conversation with people in the vehicle, and you're not hollering or anything. You can listen to music, and the sound system sounds really good. It fills it in. It has the B&O sound system, which is really cool. But yeah, smooth, quiet, comfortable for the most part.